Alright. Oop, that's my loud chair. I'm just coming on, hopefully before a nosy little boy comes in and bothers me. Um, just a little, like, tips, on, like, making shakers video, because people, um, when I had talked about adding the, cardstock to the foam a while back, people asked me to make a video, and that was, like, probably a year ago. So, here I am getting around to it. So, basically, I use either the 5mm foam or the 2mm foam, and I only use the one from Hobby Lobby, and I'm trying to find another one that's like similar because of the density of the foam. There's another type of foam you can get. I think I have a piece thrown on the other side of the room that I have, but it's a completely different density. Like there's no air bubbles in it. Kinda is the best way to describe it. Let me see if I can get it to focus a little better. Oh, there we go. See, this is like a little more porous, and this one is more dense, like, and like squishy, and this one's more like a, kind of puffy, I guess you could call it. This my cat got into. But, so, this one's garbage. It won't cut. It doesn't, like, it just kind of squishes, and you gotta cut it with scissors, and it never looks clean. But this one from Hobby Lobby, the one that's, like, it's kind of crisp when you feel it, it cuts way cleaner. Like, this is just, I didn't do anything to the edge of this. And even the insides, like, you get a little bit of, a tiny bit of fraying, depending on, like, your die cutting machine or what die it is. Most dies won't do that. It's just, this was an AliExpress die, and, I used it a million times. And so, it stopped. I should have cut my foam first, basically, and I cut my paper first, so it kind of dulled the, edge. But this is the best foam to use, I found. And then even the Hobby Lobby bin foam, the 2mm foam or 1mm, whatever it is really good because of the density of it. It's got a good, like, bounce back, like, when you cut it and it squishes down, it doesn't stay squished and, like, rounded on the edges. It goes back to a shape. If you leave it for, like, a few minutes after you cut it, it will go back to the shape it was when you cut it, like, before you cut it. And then you can always, like, take your fingernail and, like, run it on the edge, kind of, you know, fluff it a little bit. That's just a thing I learned. Also, when you glue, like, I like to put the paper on both sides of the thick and one side on the thin, because the thin will stay down. This likes to slide around and move off the edges, so, I tend to put the paper on both sides, so that when I glue it, it just makes assembling faster. It really makes, and it makes it look cleaner, because now this is in the exact shape I want it to be, to put it on this paper, and it's not going to be bigger in any areas. It's not going to be too much smaller in any areas, and I can, like, fiddle it with it a little bit, but I don't have to fiddle with it a lot, and I don't have to get my finger in there and push out the bottom. And then it, you know, you don't get glue everywhere because the glue is already done. And you can clean up any mess, and then you just tap the glue, you know, put the glue on, like, go around, tap it on with your finger to get it smoothed out. And then you're good to go, and you can just stick it down to the paper, and especially if you're doing paper to paper. Like, if this was, like, a foil or something, I'd probably use this glue, or, like, a glitter, just to make sure it doesn't come apart. But I use the Bailey Arts glue for everything else. Like, any paper to paper, I'll use it, because, or even putting the top layer on the acetate, I don't care, because it's not, if it comes off, they go up, like, and it's probably not going to come up, because usually I trim down my acetate a tiny bit. It takes a little longer, but at least, you know, you get a good, like, seal around your edge, and it's not going to pop off. The other really important tip is using one of these cloths, like, the, mine's got a lot of glue in it right now, because I've been doing a lot of gluing, is, this is like a microfiber. It's like that, it's very specific texture. You gotta get up, you have to. Sorry. What was I saying? Sorry. Oh yeah, it's got that specific texture to it. Hold on. Sorry about that. And, oh, it's like a microfiber towel. Usually they're labeled microfiber, but if it has, like, the, kind of, I don't know, it kind of looks like lines, like grooves in the, material, that's the ones to get. They're kind of, like, if you have, like, dry skin, they'll, like, stick to your dry skin. That, it works the best, because it soaks up the oil, doesn't scratch the plastic, and it'll get like glue that's dried on. If you like kind of buff it a little, it'll take it right off. But that's the best way to avoid fingerprints and like oil, not oil, glue, like leakage. On the inside of your shaker, I always use either, this is a really good powder tool. I got it for like $17 on Rabbit Hole Designs because I didn't know at the time that you could get them everywhere in like 6-packs. But if you want to support like a small business, you can order these from any stamp shop pretty much now. Like Honeybee Stamps has their own, or they might have like this version there. You know, like all different stamp companies have them. And then I got the refill. It's like a clay. It's like a makeup quality clay or whatever powder. So it's not baby powder. But this one works just fine. And it's refillable. They're both refillable. This one I just don't like because the bristles don't really get in the thing as good. And this has like an actual brush. But what I used to use before I had any of these tools was just a little thing of cornstarch or baby powder. And a brush, like a soft paintbrush. And, you know, anything that'll get the, you know, you just gotta tap it off. But it's just messy. That's the only thing. This contains the mess. You don't get as much mess. I like to keep it up because it gets too powdery. If I keep it down, the powder, like, because it's always rolling on my desk. But, oh, this is that Ultra Bond adhesive in one of these bottles. These go on sale, on clearance, on Spellbinders, probably 3 or 4 times a year for $1 a pack. If you're going to order something, like, you know, if you're going to order something from the sale anyways, you pick up a couple packs of these and you have them. I usually keep a pin in it because this glue dries really fast and it's, like, really clumpy if it's not spread out thin. And it, sorry, I thought my song was funny. But even, I leave it on my desk all the time with no needle in it, and it's fine. And this, like, it kind of comes off easy, but once you use it a couple of times, it'll stay on. You just can't, like, squeeze it. Like, if it's clogged, you got to take the clog out, because this doesn't screw on or anything. It's just kind of plunged on. But for $1, for 2 of them, they're really good. Oh, yeah, the other thing I wanted to show. Oh, and I always keep the plastic on the back of I cut the top side so that my cut plate is touching this. And then, I leave the plastic on the back till the end so that it's one less thing I have to clean. Like, I don't have to keep cleaning it over and over again. I can just leave that plastic on there, peel it off right before I'm going to stick it down, and I'm good to go. The other thing that I wanted to say was, I said about the powder tool, I said about, the thing I was saying about tapping the glue on. Like, if you're, let me find one with paper just so I can go quicker. Like, when you're putting the glue on, I'll use, I got powder everywhere. Make sure I'm on the right side. When you put it on, like, you don't need much, because the more you use, the messier it's going to be. The best thing to do, and I know it's messy, but that's what you got a towel for. Hands can always be washed, right? Is just tap the line out. So it spreads the glue out. You get the spots that weren't completely covered. You can always go back in if you see a dry spot. And I always scrape the edge of my finger because my fingers are clean. It's not like I'm putting any dirt in there. And I waste the glue on any spots that look dry. But you can always go back in with like a couple drops of glue after. And then just make sure you line it up so that you don't have to move it. Just make sure you hold your fingers on the desk and like kind of use your thumb and your like middle finger or ring finger to level it out. And then just press it in. And with the paper to paper, it's obviously done in seconds. Like, I like to put it underneath something just to be safe, but because sometimes things like to move. But that's it. And then that way your glue goes from edge to edge. You don't have big blobs in the middle, and there's no oozing, and it's not going to come apart. And like the thing is, if you use like a dry adhesive, like tape, when you send to somebody who lives in a humid climate and it's summertime, it's going to come apart in the mail. It's just a fact. Temperature fluctuations change the thickness of the foam. They change the dryness, the moisture in the adhesive. And if you're not sending something with like dry wet adhesive, like dried wet adhesive, it's gonna fluctuate and it's gonna come apart. And they're gonna open the box. There's gonna be sequins everywhere. Then you're gonna be like, oh, it's okay, I'll fix it, and you're gonna feel bad. But That doesn't have to happen if you just use a wet adhesive. Hold on, I have to pause because somebody came in the room again. Good golly, Miss Molly. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, I think. This glue you can get at Michael's. I'm sure you can get it other places. It's iCraft adhesive. It's kind of a new, it's Web. So you can probably get it on their site, or you can get it at Michael's if you don't like to shop online. And like these, I think they had these at Michael's, but I know they were clearanced out in a lot of locations, so I don't think they have them anymore. But either way, just wait till they go on sale at Savalas. You can get them for $1. Like the thing with the powder tool, that was what I meant to mention. You always want to powder the inside of your chicken, no matter what, because it's gonna keep when you put the top on and you let it dry. Don't try to move it around too early because you're gonna get the sequence stick. But if you powder the inside and then like tap it out so you don't have like too much powder in there, but so just in case there's anything on the edges, and you're gonna get rid of the static, so you're not gonna have like anything sticking anywhere. So it's just gonna, everything's gonna flow freely and everything's gonna look the best it can. That's just a thing that I found over time. I'm like getting out of breath because I'm trying to say everything fast because I know he's gonna pop back in here in a second. I think that is it for that. If I think of something else, I will put it in the car. Oh, and I always cut an extra piece of white or anything, even if you do a pattern paper or something, but nobody's going to see this part. Just as long as it looks clean to me, I'm fine with it. To cover up the back and to make it a little more sturdy. Because if this is sturdy, this is going to be sturdy, and the top's going to be sturdy. Everything's going to be sturdy all the way through. If you have a flimsy piece of freaking this paper, like, which it's not paper, it's cardstock, but it's not thick enough that it's gonna it's not structurally sound, I guess. Is what I'm trying to say. And so if you add just even another piece of like 65-pound like throwaway scrap cardstock or whatever, and just back it up so it's a little more sturdy, you're gonna have better shakers in the long run, because nothing's gonna warp or, you know, bend out of shape. And that's about it. So thank you, and sorry it took me so long to make this video, but I'll post it right now and it'll be here for the rest of the time. Thanks, bye.